In fact, that famous line from The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, she had the sound of money in her voice, about the heroine Daisy. Originally it was, she had the smell of money on her breath. But because it was Prohibition, the publisher was a little nervous and made Fitzgerald change the line. Money has a definite smell, I guarantee. Anyway, because it is people's most consistent contact with the federal government, if you want to change things, you have to start by changing the currency. So the first thing I would do is get the guys off the bills. They've been on long enough. So instead of George on the 1, Martha. Instead of Abe on the 5, Mary Todd. Instead of Tom on the 10, Sally Hemings. And of course, it's not enough to change the pictures. We have to change the words as well. We need new slogans. In God we trust. In God we trust. Is that a slogan that truly reflects the ethos of our country? In God we trust, but just in case we'll send in a few drones. No. A much more appropriate slogan would be, God trusts us. God trusts us. U.S., get it? United States. God trusts us. And what about the Latin? Because of course we have to have a Latin slogan too. E pluribus unum, from the many one. Doesn't the Department of the Treasury know that that whole melting pot idea went out decades ago? No. Instead, we will borrow something from the great Emperor Constantine. In hoc signo vince, by this sign shall you conquer. As I'm sure you know, this is what Constantine saw in the sky underneath that funny Greek symbol for Jesus Christ on the eve of a battle. He decided immediately to convert to Christianity and won not only that battle, but all subsequent battles. So we will have in hoc signo vince, but not that funny sign for Jesus Christ. Not in this secular empire. We will have a dollar sign instead. By this sign shall we conquer. Both historically accurate and predictive. Okay, that's what I'll do about money, about the currency. What about sex? Well, I thought sex would represent an excellent opportunity to address the interests of the minorities. Yes. So in the interests of the libertarians, I'm going to legalize prostitution. And to please the socialists, I'm going to nationalize it. But it will be a little more like food stamps and Medicaid than Social Security. You will have to prove by a means test, which I will personally establish, that absolutely no one is willing to have sex with you before you have access to the federal poisons. And where will they practice? Where will they ply their trade, so to speak? Why, in the banks, of course. Houses of pleasure and houses of treasure. In each bank in the country, a little area will be cordoned off. You know, first of all, we own the banks, right? We own a lot of the banks. And secondly, this time when you think about going to the bank, not only can you think, gee, I could go there and get screwed. Now you can think, gee, I could go there and get screwed. So those will be my two primary initiatives, but I'm sure you also want to know how I'm going to address the burning issues of the day. And I am prepared to tell you. Starting with gay marriage. Well, of course gays should be allowed to be married. I mean, why shouldn't they be permitted to suffer along with the rest of us? But in deference to my homophobic constituents, gays will be allowed to be married, but they will not be allowed to get divorced. Just put a little bit of a zing in there. Oh, another big issue, very big in the Bay Area, circumcision. Well, of course circumcision should be outlawed. Absolutely outlawed, absolutely outlawed. It is unfair to conservatives. Totally unfair. Because everybody knows they have tiny, tiny little. And if you take off just a bit, it puts them at a terrible disadvantage. The women have a similar problem. The women have a similar problem indeed, but they have come up with a solution: makeup. Yeah, when Sarah Palin made that famous remark about lipstick, she was not talking about her mouth. No. And what about the other burning issues of the day? The wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Well, first I thought, bring the troops home, bring all the troops home. In fact, I have a bumper sticker on my car to that effect, bring all the troops home now. But I've changed my mind. I've rethought this. I've thought this very carefully. Leave the troops over there, leave them over there, and bring an equal number of Afghanis and Iraqis over here. And then let everybody stay in place for 10 years. A little kite flying, a little tea drinking over there, a little beer drinking, a little bowling over here, a little intermarriage. In 10 years, everything will be cool. In fact, that will become a cornerstone of my foreign policy. Every time we're thinking about invading another country, we give them a choice. We can invade you, bomb the shit out of you, foment civil war, destroy your infrastructure, or we can do a little population exchange. 50,000 or so for the smaller countries, up to 1 million for the larger countries. I think this will work. Oh, and yes, of course, that other burning issue, the economy. What am I going to do about the economy? Well, of course, I have a tax policy to address this. And in my tax policy, I'm going to give consideration to my wealthy backers. Yes, like all of the politicians, I have very wealthy supporters, and I have to take care of them because they take care of me. So if anybody earns $500,000 or more a year, they will not have to pay any taxes, none whatsoever, so long as they adopt a family of 4 or more at 20% or less of the poverty line. And make sure that one parent is employed at all times and all children are in school. Child finishes school, it drops out, you go back to paying taxes. Parent out of a job, you go back to paying taxes. Yes, this might lead to a glut of advanced degrees, but that would help narrow the education gap which we supposedly have with other nations. So there you have it, my economic policy. I don't think I can go any further without addressing an issue that's bound to come up. It is the woman issue, the woman question. I mean, can a woman really rule? Well, I guess I could point out that Indira Gandhi ruled India, a country much more populous than ours, many years. And Margaret Thatcher was at the helm in Britain, a country much older than ours, and whom some people will claim have many more English speakers than we do. And of course, Angela Merkel of Germany, a country with much more sauerkraut than we have. But still, that doesn't really answer the question, can a woman rule the United States of America? Well, there is a major problem, of course, because people just do not trust women. They don't trust women. Men don't trust women, and women don't trust women. And there's a good reason for that. I can tell you it in one word: mother. Every person, male or female, has or at some time has had a mother. So who can trust a person who says to you, "Oh, sweetheart, I'd just love to buy you that toy, or that doll, or that car, but you know Mommy can't afford it." Meantime, in your little child's mind, you are calculating the combined cost of the pedicure, the manicure, the hair weave, and the Brazilian wax job. Who could trust such a woman? Or the woman who says, "You know that lady you thought you saw Daddy kissing at the party last night? He wasn't really kissing her. Oh, no, 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 no. She had a piece of food stuck between her back teeth, and he was helping her get it out with his tongue." Or the woman who says, "Well, sweetheart, of course I want you to be happy. I want you to be whatever you want to be when you grow up." Well, how should I know why they call it the oldest profession, and why do you want to know? Or, "Well, I know I said you should follow your heart and marry anybody that you wanted to. Of course I said that, but I thought it was understood that did not include Republicans." Yes, people do not trust women. It is our history as mothers that has led people to be so suspicious. But the question is, does this transfer into other areas of our life? Can we not be trusted? Well, of course we can. And these aren't perfectly real. They're totally real. They just feel a little hard because I've been taking iron supplements. Yes, women are totally trustworthy. But there are other issues, other rumors to dispel. For instance, that women are indecisive. So indecisive. Have you ever seen a man trying to get his butt into position to take a golf swing? So much for the indecisive gender. Oh yes, and women are terrible with money, right? Just terrible with money. All we know how to do is spend it, correct? Yes, I know women single-handedly got us into the debt crisis. It's all those birth control pills we've been demanding on Medicaid, right? That's what did it. And that other rumor, that women are emotional. Oh, so emotional. Right. All those people on the freeway who are screaming, "Where'd you learn how to drive, asshole?" at the person going only 2 miles above the speed limit in front of them, those are all women, right? So I think when we ask the question, are women fit to rule? The question is,